How can leaders start thinking about succession before it becomes urgent and it might be too late, whether it is the sale or the internal transition? And then what are the biggest mistakes you see happen when they don't?
Yeah, as much time as you can give yourself. So now I always say that with a little bit of caveat. We have an assessment called the IMAP. I'm pretty futurist. A lot of founders and visionaries, they're futurists. They think about the future a lot. I also, on my Clifton strengths, I am a strategic thinker. And so for me, if I don't see that big picture or what's coming up, how do I know that I'm making decisions today that are kind of aligned? We see a lot of visionaries that are kind of like this. The furthest out we've ever seen someone, especially when you're talking family, I don't know if there's too early to really start thinking about it. I talked to a business owner over the weekend and he has a son, but the son's only 19. He's going into the Marines, but he thinks his son could be the person who eventually takes over the business. But son is at least 5 years, 5 years in the Marines, and then who knows where that kind of extends to. Maybe 10 years before he would be ready. That doesn't exactly align with what the business owner is thinking about their timeline to get out of the business because they would like to be out in 4 to 5 years of day to day. And so we started talking, well, do you need to hire a management team? Is there something else that you could put in place? Are there strategic hires that you could make which would get you your time back, but still keep the business in your family in case your kids want it? In that case, he's looking at a 10 to 15-year roadmap, right? Because even then, once the son comes back, you have to train the son, make sure he's ready. There's other kids. So what's the equity? What's going to make that fair? So when you're talking families, I don't think there's too early to start to think about all the different factors, especially when there's a lot of leadership growth that the successors need to go through. If you're like, there's really no one I would be interested in passing it to. And I'll also caveat an employee team. We've worked with some people who are trying to do employee or like manager buyouts. So it's going from one owner to like three or four key managers who are going to be like the next generation of growth. That's almost the same timeline as a family. We say family business, but I would say if you're taking care of people and you're passing it in that way, it's really about the relationship transition in a way, right? If you're like, I'm going to sell, well, the market is shifting all the time. You don't know what's going to come up. Do you need to make key hires to make the business more valuable now? Those are all really important things to think about. And so starting 3 to 5 years before you're ready to actually go to the investment bank, the M&A firm, the business broker, really having a concrete idea of where you're going, what the value of that business needs to be. Like, what's your number? Like, is the business even worth what you need to, like, if you had this kind of sale and this exit event, are you going to have to keep working or start something new to be enough income? Or is there going to be enough income when you look at investments and all those other things? And that's where your wealth advisors can kind of play in on this team as well. But so, yeah, I'm a big proponent of at least 3 to 5 years before you're thinking about it. You never know when there's going to be a health scare. And again, that helps kind of pivot it. And so you ask about the mistakes that we see people make. It's when you have fear. Likely the
Mm,
hesitancy to want to start is some type of fear, is a lot of what I see. Well, if we start talking about succession, that means my whole family's going to want me out and it's going to be over. I don't know what I want to do next. I still love working. The whole family is going to start fighting or there's going to be conflict when we actually start talking about this. Those are all fear things that kind of pop up. And so, okay, we'll just wait. We'll do it a little bit later and it shortens your timeline, and the shorter your timeline is, the less options that you have at the end of the day, because there's cool tax things and estate structures and all this stuff that we can help you think of with your estate attorneys and your brokers or whatever else. But a lot of them take time.
mhm.
Like, I talked to a really cool estate lawyer the other day, and he's talking about one of the like founders share and the founders credits. If your business isn't already a C corp, you can turn it into that. If you have at least 5 years, then the first, like, I think it's $15 million of a sale, the tax is significantly reduced on those. That stuff takes time because if you don't have 5 years left in your business, then there's no reason to attempt or try that strategy. And so there's implications on other things as well. So I would say that that's one of the biggest is letting that fear kind of prevent you from starting and waiting until that point where, like, oh, shoot, my kids are really pushing me now, or someone got sick, or I really need time back. And then your options decrease a lot in terms of what's possible.